What was that? Ooh. Uh-oh, it looks like we lost another one. Hey there, it's Theo from Geeky Gamer Guy. This video I'll be previewing Dinosaur Island Rawr and Right from Pandasaurus Games. Note: this game shows prototype components and is subject to change. We better get rolling. Dinosaur Island Rawr and Right is, as you might have guessed, the roll and write version to the critically acclaimed game Dinosaur Island. 2 to 4 players will be creating their very own dino theme park, from hiring specialists to building attractions, and of course making what the visitors came here to see, dinosaurs. To set up, place the game board for the number of players in the middle of the table. Shuffle the building and advanced specialist cards. Draw 3 cards for each face up to the left and right of the board on the corresponding side. Return the remaining cards to the box. Each slot is labeled A, B, and C. We'll find out what that's all about in a sec. Place the season marker along the top of the board. Then place the 10 dice into the bag. Give each player the 2 different park sheets. In the DNA storage, circle the first box of each basic DNA. Now look for the building wrench area on the park sheet, each labeled A, B, or C. That looks familiar. Fill in the coin boxes starting from the end of the second row until the number of coin boxes remaining equals the coin cost to the matching lettered card slot. Then do the same for the advanced specialists. Choose a first player. All other players gain additional advanced DNA. The second player circles an advanced green, third in advanced green and pink, and the fourth player circles the first box of all 3 advanced DNA. And with that, we're ready to begin. The game is played over 3 seasons. Each season has 3 phases, 2 action phases and the run park phase. Before going into further detail for a season though, let's talk about some important concepts. Throughout the game, players will gain resources, be that from dice, taking actions, or earn income from running their park. Whenever a player gains a resource, it is marked on the park sheets. Basic or advanced DNA is circled, making it available for creating dinos. Coins are immediately used to buy specialists or building cards, be that from the ones alongside the board or the ones printed on the sheets. Mark off the coin boxes for every coin used and check the circle when it's completed. Specialists provide immediate resources when hired, and further resources to be gained during each run park phase. Now, buildings can provide immediate resources when built, recurring resources during the run park phase, and endgame scoring objectives. Whenever attractions are gained, check off a circle. There can only be 4 of that building type in each park. When constructing a building, the player draws its tetromino shape on the park grid. The shape can be rotated or flipped, but it must always be at least 1 square apart from another building. It can be placed along the outer walls though, even next to park exits. Roads are used to connect buildings and park exits together. Each road must connect only 2 sides of a square, so no 3 or 4-way roads are allowed. Not in this park, no. A player can choose to save the coins or roads for later use, circling a square in the respective storage. There's room for only 5 for the entire game and are marked off when used, so use it wisely. They can also spend 2 coins at any time to get a DNA, road, or security. Whenever a player gains excitement, circle that many boxes on the track. Players will gain the circled resources each run park phase. Lastly, we've got security and threat. When players gain security, they mark a circle on the security track. Whenever they gain threat represented by red dots, a smaller dot is drawn within the box. Now that that's out of the way, let's play! The first 2 phases of each season are exactly the same, where players draft 2 dice and then place them onto the board. During an action phase, the first player draws a number of dice according to the player count and then rolls them. Starting with the first player and going clockwise, each player chooses 1 die, without changing its face. Then starting with the last player and going counterclockwise, each player chooses a second die. After the first player chooses their second die, there will be 1 die left over, which we'll circle back to in a sec. After everyone has drafted 2 dice, they gain the resources and specific attraction icons, but not the threat on them, following the steps I said before. Then all players gain the resources and threat on the leftover die. After that, starting with the first player going clockwise, each player chooses 1 die to place on an action space. They can place their die on any empty space or on top of another die, but they take the threat from the covered up die. Ooh! Actions provide more ways to gain resources and, most importantly, make dinosaurs. I mean, that's what I'm here for. When using the Make Dinos action space, mark off DNA to make up to 4 dinosaurs. If it's a new species, draw on the park grid its paddock, following the building rules, and write the first letter representing the species. Check off a circle for each dino made. Then gain the excitement and threat for each newly created one. After all players have taken 2 actions, clean up by returning the dice to the bag and making the next player clockwise the first player. Move the season marker forward. If it's a second action phase, draft dice yet again. When the marker reaches the run icon, players simultaneously run their parks following the flow of their park sheet. Gain resources for built attractions, then hired specialists. After that, give a park tour by running an imaginary line starting from the HQ to connected buildings and park exits. Oh yes, let me see everything. I want to see it all. For each building toured, mark the building with an X and gain 1 excitement. If it already has an X, the tour can still go through the building, but it won't gain any excitement. The visitors have already seen it before. Yawn. For every toured park exit, circle it to be scored in the end. Then gain resources from excitement. Now running your park isn't always easy with a bunch of hungry dinos. Sometimes a few deaths can happen. For every threat that isn't inside a security circle, the player circles the next space on the death toll track. Each death will be negative points at the end of the game. They wanted a thrill, right? Whenever an exclamation point is circled, a disaster happens. Ooh. The player then chooses one and takes the effects. Things like losing roads, attractions, or DNA to destroying one paddock. Oh! After the run park phase, move the season marker forward to the next season. Once the third season is done, players move on to endgame scoring. Players score points as follows: every created dino, hired specialists, special buildings, circled park exits, 1 VP for every 2 unused DNA, and the last row reached on the excitement track. For every excitement over 60, score 1 victory point each. Then lose a point for every death and 2 points for every death over 20. Oh. Total everything up and the player with the most points wins. Some features here include a thinky yet accessible medium-weight roll and write experience that encapsulates the grandeur of Dinosaur Island into a streamlined and travel-friendly design. The game comes with heaps of variety and plenty of specialists and special buildings to switch up each play. Plus, the unique color-rich art style from Dinosaur Island is back, giving great table presence. Oh yeah. This game is definitely for players who love roll and writes and want a more robust full game to play. Dinosaur Island players will also pick up a lot of key concepts easily. So if you're ready to head back to the island, all the while agonizing over your choices and drooling over the visuals, you should definitely check this one out. I put a link to the Kickstarter for you to check out in the comments below. That's it! Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, plus hit the bell to not miss out on future videos. Until next time, stay geeky. Keep gaming. Version to the critically acclaimed place the game board in the middle to set up. Used to buy specialists or paddock. Oh yes. Oh yeah. Oh. 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 Oh.